so happy to see you. Really, I'm so grateful to you because of the knowledge I received on Delta. It's arrived. Delta was fun when it was done.
It
Yeah.
was definitely, definitely. Happy to be here. And yeah, I watched a part of your session, but I will watch the recording later. It's lovely, lovely to see what you're doing.
Thank you so much. And actually, I admire you a lot because you work at Nile as well, yes. Yeah. And Promova, I saw that you like a couple of weeks ago you stopped working, but Promova was huge and it still is a huge project.
It is a huge project. It's a language learning platform with 12 foreign languages. There's self-learning courses, there's live online tutoring, there's a lot. But yes, I finished my work journey at Promova and I'm joining a different company soon to continue building up operations.
That's crazy what you because in the past it was great, huge company, and
Yes,
then international house again. So the companies with names, and
yes,
yeah,
Just
basically,
getting bigger and bigger.
yeah, yes.
bigger and bigger. The next company is more than 500 people.
Wow, wow.
Wow.
Teacher. Oh, like I mean, with engineer. Oh,
It's in IT.
uh-huh.
So it's not in language teaching. I'm continuing my journey in language teaching with Nile, where I manage the Delta program. But
Mhm.
yes, the other thing I will be doing is general management operations and not language teaching.
And Delta, all the modules. Like you're.
That's correct.
I still have 2 modules to go. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice journey. It's an exhausting journey because I still remember my own Delta. It took me a year to complete it, but that was crazy because I was also working full time. And right now, when people come and want to join the part-time Delta and do it within 1 year, I often advise against it. But
Uh-huh.
there's people who do it. There's people who do it full time also, which is great if you can afford to take, I think it's 2 months off if you want to do a full-time Module 2 course.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's a lot of challenge.
We had part-time, I remember, and but it was still
It was
combining.
it was still a lot. I remember how exhausted you all were. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. So off to you. We will disappear. Thank you, and again, thank you for.
We're live,
Uh,
right?
yeah, yeah. I will be here.
Oh,
I mean, but I will switch off my camera so that
yeah. No, absolutely. I'm just checking. Yes.
everything working.
Okay.
So
Shall we wait for 2 more minutes if more
maybe,
people come, or?
maybe yes, maybe yes. I guess a lot of people want to watch that in recording. Yeah, because it's
I
working.
guess so. I guess so, because I think now is the middle of the workday, so a lot of people will be working.
And
And we
overall,
keep getting messages from people that, oh, thank you for the recording. I just watched it. And
yes.
so,
Yeah,
Oh,
and
that's fantastic.
yeah.
Yeah.
overall, we have 400 registrations. Like, I guess 50 people still are somewhere lost because they registered, didn't join
Yeah.
chat, but still, yeah. So definitely over time, they will watch it. And especially, I'm so grateful to you because I somehow missed you on iTafel. It's a nice idea not to be know your plan, yes, and not to be overwhelmed because at some point I just got lost and I guess I missed some sessions because of that.
Yeah,
Oh,
I was
no.
there. It was good. It was so good. I want to watch it again
Yeah.
and make more notes.
Yeah. IETFL is huge, to be honest. And it's my, I don't even know, seventh IETFL or something. And I always feel overwhelmed because there's so many sessions. And by the end of the day, you feel that you're not processing the information. It's total cognitive overload. And you want to talk about those things. You
Yeah.
want to make notes and process and everything. It's a shame they don't record most sessions.
Another shame thing this year it was because last year they allowed like to be rooms to be packed, but this year you want to visit this room, but it's only for 30 people. You run there, but they
Yeah.
like those ladies at the entrance were very strict this year, and they didn't let you in. Yeah,
Maybe
Yeah.
they were teachers, this time.
Yeah.
maybe we had a huge Ukrainian delegation. It's about I don't know 40 people. about.
We did. It's getting bigger and bigger every year, which is fascinating. And it's fantastic that you're doing this Smart Brunch event because, not too many people actually attend IETFL. And even if they do, they don't always go to a lot of sessions. So it's great to share the knowledge.
Yes.
Absolutely. So let's get the ball rolling. Thank you very much, everyone who is here today, and thanks to all those who will be watching this recording. My name is Kate, and I am here to talk about a framework for creating own AI assistants. The talk will be slightly less than 30 minutes, hopefully, and there will be time for your questions at the end of the session, so do leave them in the chat. First of all, let me talk about the agenda for today. We're going to start by looking at the tasks which can be delegated to custom GPTs. And a custom GPT is what we will be talking about today. A custom GPT is a tailored AI assistant based on OpenAI. I'll show you how it works, and I'll show you how to customize one. We will create a custom GPT together. So during this session, I will open my chat GPT and I will show you how I tailor the GPTs to my needs. We will test an example of a custom GPT together, and we will talk about ethical considerations because there's so much AI in our lives these days, and we use it so often, and I myself use it so often. And I sometimes think that, if I'm doing this task, do I actually really need to use AI for this, or can I use something else? Because it can get quite expensive, not for me personally, but for our planet. A couple of words about me. My name is Kate, and I have been in education for 17 years now. And in the past 4 years, I've been working in EdTech, which is basically a mix of education and technology. I spent 4 years working for Promova, which is a language learning platform with self-learning courses for more than 12 languages and also live online tutoring for English. I have also worked in 15 different countries, training up teachers and training up CELTA and Delta trainers and opening up new CELTA and Delta centers. Right now, I am working as Delta program leader at Nile, where I oversee the Delta program of modules 1, 2, and 3. So if you're interested in Delta, drop me a line. And I am also starting a job as head of operations at EverHelp, which is an IT company providing support services to other IT companies. So basically, outsourced support services. I think, and I always say that time and experience are my biggest values, which is why I started using ChatGPT almost immediately the day it went public in November 2022, and I've been using it almost every day for various tasks since December 2022. So I have quite a lot of experience, used a lot of different models, but what we will be talking about today is OpenAI ChatGPT tailored to your own needs. Like I said, if you have any questions during this session, please leave them in the chat. If I see them right away, and if they are within the context, I will try and answer them right away. If not, I will leave them till the end, and I will deal with your questions at the end of the session. So this slide shows a very common concern, and I've done a lot of different talks about AI for teachers across the world. And one of the most common questions is, do you think AI will replace us? And I personally don't think AI will replace us, but I truly believe that people using AI will. This is not my invention. This is what I heard during Lindsay Warwick's talk at IETFL last year, not this year. She was talking about using ChatGPT for creating teacher training materials. And she shared this thought and it resonated with me. I don't think AI is fully capable of teaching a foreign language to students so that they retain the language and they can use it confidently. AI does give feedback if you tailor it. However, this feedback isn't always fully correct because, as we know, AI hallucinates. And the other thing is AI doesn't have emotional intelligence. As teachers, very often we know our students. We know which topics to ask, which topics not to ask. And if we simply use AI to learn a foreign language and we never tell AI that this topic is sensitive and we shouldn't be talking about it, or that we'd like to talk about some other topics because this is our business need, AI won't tailor itself to this. I don't think students think about those things when they come to lessons, and especially when they come to AI. They won't tell AI enough about the context they need. So let's rest assured that AI will not replace us, at least in the next however many decades, but people using AI will. So we're going to start by looking at the tasks which can be delegated to custom GPTs or to AI. I'd like to share this post I found on X probably about a year ago, I think, where this lady who is a writer actually, she says, the biggest problem with pushing all things AI, I want AI to do my laundry and dishes so that I can do art. And I don't want AI to do my art and writing so that I can do my laundry and dishes. And I think it explains everything because very often we delegate tasks which are creative. We use AI to unblock ourselves, which is great. And I think it's super helpful and I do that. But I would like to use AI for tedious, menial tasks, for boring tasks, which would help me save a lot of my time, so that I can actually do more creative tasks. And in this talk, we're going to talk about how to automate things like laundry and dishes in teaching, though, so that we can spend time doing something more creative. So first of all, a custom GPT, which is what we're talking about. A custom GPT is a version of ChatGPT, which we all know, tailored to specific needs, tasks, audiences. Think of it as giving your ChatGPT a specific personality, role, area of expertise, tone. You can sometimes give it access to special files, links, tools, websites, whatever dictionaries you want it to use, and so on. And so I've used custom GPTs, so not ChatGPT in general, but a tailored custom GPT for creating role plays for my students to practice English, where basically a GPT asks them a question. So where are you today? What's your role? What goal do you want to achieve? And then there's a role play between the student and ChatGPT. AI-powered vocabulary practice with feedback, which we actually later implemented in Promova. So in Promova, if you use the app and you finish a self-learning lesson, there will be an AI step which will ask you to write a sentence with a word, and you will get feedback from AI. I've used it for doing language analysis for CELTA. So for all those of you who have done CELTA, this might save you a lot of time right now if you still do language analysis. For all those who are still planning to do CELTA, please don't use this custom GPT on your actual CELTA course. If you do, please reference it. And please always check what this custom GPT gives you, because it can hallucinate occasionally. Creating practice tasks, creating special tasks for reading and listening lessons. And I have a separate GPT for GIST. I have a separate GPT for specific information because it needs a lot of instruction. I've used it for summarizing key points from CELTA feedback. If you've seen my CELTA feedback, if you've done CELTA with me, you will know that I write a running commentary where I talk about what you are doing in the lesson. And then ChatGPT is great at finding patterns. And actually what I've used it for is referencing the things that are happening in the lesson against the criteria. Proofreading posts for social media, proofreading my LinkedIn posts, and actually even doing placement testing with new students. What do all those tasks have in common, and why did I actually manage to automate them? When I think about tasks in my life, I always divide them into creative tasks and routine tasks. I personally believe that most tasks in life are creative, especially if we want them to be creative. However, some of the tasks do not require generating a lot of new stuff. They require research. They require pulling out information from a source and putting it into a different source. And I call them routine tasks. There's also one-time tasks, and there's also repeated tasks. So when we talk about custom GPTs, I only use them for repeated tasks, for both creative and routine tasks. Why repeated tasks? Because I spend time customizing my ChatGPT so that it can perform the task. And if it's a one-time task, believe me, it's faster to simply do it yourself rather than tailor your GPT to doing this task. So let's create a custom GPT together. I've created a checklist of the things you need to create a custom GPT. I'll share it as a file in a moment, but basically you need to identify a job you'd like to automate. And what we will be doing here today is creating a GPT for vocabulary language analysis, which is CELTA style. So meaning, form, pronunciation, concept checking questions, and as a bonus, practice questions. You need to describe the context. So for me, this is CELTA, and you'll see the details. You need to give specific instructions, what you want your GPT to do, and also describe what it mustn't do. And I find it super important because, for instance, last week I was creating custom GPTs for my Delta courses at Nile. So paper 1, task 1, practice, paper 1, task 2, practice, paper 1, task 3, practice. And I had to tell it when not to give points for the answers because it can be super generous. Provide the template or rules that you would like your GPT to follow. I also find it useful giving an example of a deliverable. So basically, we'll be creating a CELTA style language analysis. So I will give my GPT an example of the language analysis I wanted to produce, and also upload any relevant documents. So this is a QR code to the Google document, which you can use as a reference. I'll give you 30 seconds to scan this QR code if you like, and I will move on to the next slide, where I will show you this file. So here is the file, and let me go to my Google Drive. It's here. What I'll do is I'll share it in the chat as well in case you didn't scan the QR code. There we go. So you can have a look at it now. So I gave you the checklist of the things you need. And basically this is a table. You can download this, remove the information from the second column and use it to create your own GPT. So we'll be doing language analysis of vocabulary, and the context is act as a highly skilled and thoughtful teacher of English preparing for a lesson. Specific instructions. I won't be reading it aloud because I'm sure you will do this yourself at some point. So I tell the GPT what it will receive, what it will have to produce, and I also tell it which dictionary to use. This is just for the purpose of consistency. Describe what it mustn't do. There's nothing really it mustn't do here because this GPT works well enough. A template or rules to follow. So there's a set of rules for creating concept checking questions. I have a separate GPT for concept checking questions, and it has a larger set of rules, but this is a basic one for this GPT. I told you it's great to give an example. So here is my example. Example sentence, meaning, concept checking questions, pronunciation, form, sentences to practice the word, and discussion questions. There are no relevant documents. When I was creating a GPT to do placement testing with students, for example, I uploaded a list of questions divided by levels. So for a 1 level, there's a list of questions. A 2 level, there's a list of questions. So I uploaded this list and told GPT to use this list for questions. And instructions the user will see on the screen. This is quite a lengthy instruction. I will probably replace it when we create a custom GPT. So let me just check. We're now going to ChatGPT, and I will create an assistant here live with you. So chatgpt.com. In order to create an assistant, you go here. You need a paid account to create an assistant, but you can use assistants if you have a free account. So you basically go to this menu and you go to My GPTs. And you will now see that I have a long, long list. Load more, and there's a lot more GPTs, which I have. So we will create a GPT together. Over here, you have 2 screens. One says configure and one says create. I have a video recorded for this create option. Basically, if you're just starting and you're not sure how to program your ChatGPT, you go here and you use it as a chat. It asks you questions such as what would you like me to make, and you answer, and it tailors your GPT automatically. That's how I created my very first GPTs, but right now I feel that it's easier for me to configure. So let's do this together. Basically what I do is I go to my table and name, let's call it CELTA style language analysis of vocabulary. Description, doing language analysis of vocabulary. Now instructions. I always start with the context because you want to give your GPT a role. So act as a highly skilled teacher of English preparing for a lesson. I then copy paste my specific instructions from here. If you have something in the section on what it mustn't do, you also copy paste it here. If not, I take my rules and I copy paste them here. I also take my example and I will copy paste it here. There's more. So here it is. That's it with instructions. It took me some time to prepare those instructions in the Google document. And because it's probably the 5th or 6th time I'm creating an assistant for CELTA style language analysis of vocabulary, I already know how to do this. Very often what happens is I create an assistant and then I go and test it 3-5 times. And I go back to instructions and I tailor them. I tell it what not to do. I change the template and things like that. So we have no documents. And there's also a line conversation starters. My conversation starter will be help me do language analysis, for example. If you have any files, PDF or doc, you can upload files using this button. You can enable web search if you wanted to search the web, and I always do that. If you wanted to generate images, you can also enable image generation. And I click on create. You can save it for yourself, anyone with the link in the GPT store. If you publish it on the GPT store, it becomes publicly available on the GPT store, and anybody who browses custom GPTs will find your GPT. I'll keep it to anyone with the link. There we go. So let's view my GPT. And this is what it looks like. Let me show you. how it works. I click on the button. So it says, give me the target word and an example sentence. And let's use the word, our target word will be creep. Example sentence. She crept out of the house. This is quite tricky because there isn't a lot of context in the sentence. So let's see what it produces. Let's give it a minute. It needs time to search the web. You will see an icon. It means that it's checking out the Cambridge Dictionary. Oh, okay, that's something new. Last time I tested it, it didn't create images. So it's given me the target word in the example sentence, meaning to move slowly and quietly so that no one sees or hears you. And this is taken from the Cambridge Dictionary, the way I asked it to do. Great. Concept checking questions. Let's see if they are okay. Did she move slowly or quickly? Slowly. Did she want to be noticed? No. Was she trying to be quiet? Yes. Is sneak a synonym for creep? Good. And I think this is a good choice because creep is quite a high-level word. Is run an antonym for creep? Yes. And this is a tricky concept checking question because it's an antonym. You can replace it with, is run a synonym for creep? No. Pronunciation, I think it's quite right. An important thing here, I haven't managed to ask ChatGPT to create transcription of sentences. It doesn't fully recognize connected speech. So if you're using AI for transcription of sentences, don't trust it. For pronunciation, one syllable, long E, and voiceless P. I don't think I need all of those details, but thank you very much for giving them to me. This is enough. Form. Ooh, there's quite a lot of information. It's an intransitive verb, past simple, ing, and so on. Again, I don't think I need all of this information. And if you're doing it for CELTA, you won't need all of this information. You probably only need verb and intransitive. But great to have it. Controlled practice sentences. Let's check them out. The cat under the table to catch the mouse. Okay, sounds good. He crept into the room without making a sound. Good. They crept past the sleeping baby. Good. If we were giving those sentences to our learners, those might not be enough context-wise because the cat did something under the table to catch the mouse. Crawled under the table is also possible and would be correct. He walked into the room without making a sound would also be correct. So let's be cautious when creating those sentences. You might want to tailor them to give more context. For your practice discussion questions, have you ever crept somewhere to avoid being seen? What happened? Okay. Can you think of a time when someone crept up on you? Now that's a different one, so I don't think we can use it. Why might someone need to creep in certain situations? This is a good one. So basically that's it. Now, because this is a tailored GPT, basically what you do every time is you send the target word and an example sentence and you get a full product. You can use it for preparing for the lessons, or you can also use it during the lessons if your learners ask you a question. Now, let's move back to my presentation. Oh, one thing I forgot. I am going to copy the link and leave this link with you so you can test it and you can use it in the future. I will keep this assistant available so you don't have to worry and you can use it again and again if you like. Now I'll just click through the slides because we know that technology sometimes fails. So I added the slides to show you the whole process of doing that. So you will see how to start, where the GPTs live, how to configure, what you will need, how to copy paste them here. And over here, if you want to check out how to create it, there's a video, which I will not be playing right now because you can watch it later. There is a link to this video. which I will share with you. But I know that we only have 5 minutes left and I want to keep some time for the questions. So I'll just show you basically what happens here is I'm interacting with the GPT. I'm typing in text and it creates the GPT. So an important point. When I create a new GPT, I always test it 3 to 5 times, and I always go back to the configure section and I always change the instructions to make sure that it works okay. We've tested the custom GPT, so I will just click through this. And this is the QR code to my custom GPT, so you can use it later if you want to watch the recording or if you want my slides. Now, finally, let's talk about the ethical considerations. And the first thing that always comes up is the data privacy and confidentiality. I sometimes use it for placement testing with my students. When I do that, I always anonymize everything. If I have a transcript of my conversation with the student and I want AI to identify my student's level, I remove all the names and I remove names of places, for example, and send it to GPT. I personally am not worried about my own data. Even if there is a leak, I don't think anybody will care about my level of English, but I don't put in any financial data or anything like that in there. Bias and stereotyping. We all know that GPT is trained on a set of data. So if you ask it for an image of a CEO, it will most probably be a middle-aged white European man. Not a woman, not other nationalities, so ethnical groups. So be cautious with that. Using AI creates over-reliance on AI. So if you're using this GPT, do make sure that you check it and proofread it. And also, from time to time, do the language analysis yourself, because I personally feel that if I do tasks with AI, I can get very lazy and my critical thinking declines. So I often do exercise. I often remove AI and do things myself. With over-reliance on AI, this is tricky because sometimes when you ask it to do phonemic transcription, this is what it will give you. You don't need all of this information for teaching or for CELTA language analysis, but you won't believe how many times I solve this in CELTA language analysis. So be cautious, be critical. AI can hallucinate. It can give you wrong data. I was once preparing for a workshop on growth mindset. And I asked it to generate a list of books I could use for more information because I wanted to update my workshop. And it generated a couple of books which don't exist. So always fact check. Intellectual property. When I just started using AI, I tried taking a screenshot of a coursebook page and uploading it to AI and asking it to generate a lesson plan. And then later, particularly when speaking to coursebook writers and publishers, I realized that this is intellectual property and we're not supposed to be sharing coursebook pages into AI because this is basically data leak and intellectual property leak. I've stopped doing that, but also because it doesn't really generate very good lesson plans. Transparency with learners. I think we have to tell our learners that we use the AI to generate some materials. One, it's honest, and we don't want to lose their trust. And number two, I think they will respect and like us even more because they want to learn from us about how to use AI. Obscuring the why behind teaching, and this is what I mentioned earlier. If we use AI for teaching purposes, why can't learners use AI? And they can for some basic things, like I want to learn 100 words in Uzbek language because I'm going to Uzbekistan. That's enough. But if we want practice and feedback, that's not enough. Accountability, and who's responsible if an AI-generated task goes wrong? And I personally believe it's the teacher, because if it goes wrong and we didn't really check the task before giving it to students, it's definitely our fault. And I'm leaving some time for your questions, and I can already see one in the chat. I think we have about 2 minutes left. A technical question for later: what's the easiest, most direct way to get a transcript of students' speech? So I've used two things. First of all, let me show you. If you use ChatGPT, you will notice that you can dictate things. So you can ask your students to dictate something into ChatGPT and it will transcribe it. The other thing is there's a tool called Speech Notes. So this is a tool which can be used for free. And over here, you click on Dictate, and it will transcribe your speech. It will not punctuate it. So basically what I do is I take whatever text appears here, and I send it to ChatGPT and say, please punctuate this. And it helps me save a lot of time with transcribing students' speech. Great. Let me go back to the slides. There's a question: in your opinion, will AI replace human labor in ELT? It will replace some of it. If we talk about English language teaching as a larger industry, I think it will replace admin tasks. Things like, we can already automate sending reminders about lessons, or probably sending invoices and things like that. I already did that at Promova. We automated the reminders with the help of AI and different third-party tools. So this will definitely be automated. I think quite a bit of materials design will be handed over to AI. I don't think it will be fully automated because I think human beings will still proofread that. So will AI fully replace human labor in ELT? No, at least not anytime soon. Thank you for your questions. And if you have any more questions, I will be happy to answer them. Meanwhile, if you want to talk about AI, if you want to create a custom GPT together, or want me to test your custom GPT or help you refine it, or if you'd like to talk about anything else related to language teaching or operations management and general management, let's stay in touch. Here's the QR code to my LinkedIn, and here's also my email. And I'm also a member of the Smart Brunch chat, so just do reach out to me and I'll be happy to speak to you. I guess that's about it from me.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
The creating materials would be a nice thing to take consultation from you. Yeah.
I can see a question in the chat. How do you create placement test for learners using ChatGPT? This is basically a speaking test. So I use the same custom GPT. I program it. I say you're a highly qualified English teacher doing placement testing. I give it more instructions, start from B1 level. If the student answers correctly, go up, and so on and so on. I upload a list of questions for each of the levels. And whenever I need to test the student, I send the link to this custom GPT to my student, and I ask my student to send me a PDF of their conversation or simply a link to their conversation. And that's it. Thank you for the question. And yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. I don't think we have any more questions, so that would
Not
be it.
yet. Not yet. Maybe people will come up with
I'm still
more
here.
questions. And yeah.
Sure.
Well, I mean, it was my second time listening to this, and anyway, I'm still processing, I would say.
Yeah, I know. It took me a lot of time to actually, get super comfortable with creating custom GPTs. So the first time it takes a while, and then the second time it takes a while, but then I just love it.
Yeah, but again, we should be smarter, and like turns out we are smarter, especially like in different context. And yeah, create a lesson on things doesn't work at all. It just creates some pretty silly material. Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Totally. All right.
Thank you then. Thank you so much.
No questions. So thank you very much for joining. Thank you, ladies, for organizing this, and thank you for having me. Best of luck with everything, and I'll see you online or face to face.